What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back. So today I'm going to apologise before I go into the video. I mean, say I haven't done one of these videos, in my Commander series for a while. As I say, I apologise for it. I've been distracted by various other things, and as you see, we're not actually in the game room today. I've basically moved upstairs to film this because I've got more room up here. I mean, this is going to be eventually probably be my bedroom. I'll show you panorama. I mean, so this is an upstairs room. The game room is downstairs. And you say this is basically, and you say that these are some of my video game stuff, boxes and stuff up here. And this is going to be, so this is like this is the view from the window. As you can see, it's similar to the game room is directly underneath this. Then you say that's the view from the upstairs window. And then you say there's a train, if there's any noise during the video, the train track is near, so the trains go past. I mean, you say I was about to film this video earlier today, but my neighbour was doing they were doing their lawn, the mowing, so the mowing stopped me doing this video for a while. Anyway, I apologise. I'll try and get doing these more regular. As I say, I've got a lot of these videos to do. I mean, you say that today's video is going to be the featured one. Is going to be Gisef, which is my dinosaur tribal deck. And you say, well, I've got plenty of these videos to do. I've got 42 Commander decks, and then you say I keep building them. And you say, so I've got a lot of content, so check them out. They'll be linked in the playlist. And if you're new to the channel or you've been watching for a long time, thanks very much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as always. I mean, you say those are my PlayStation games on the floor. I mean, you say I do various video game content as well. That was remainder from my PlayStation video that I filmed a couple of weeks back. All right, so we're going to get into it today. So today's video, before I start, check out my Red Mana Madness mat. So I'm basically my friend's YouTube channel, Anthony and Dennis run. And thanks very much to Anthony and Dennis. They gifted me this mat. I was the first subscriber to their channel. And we need to say check out their channel as well, because they also do various pack openings. They're doing some Commander videos as well. They're showing various decks that they build, and they have an eBay store which is going to be linked to that. Alright, don't forget to subscribe to them as well as subscribe to me. Anyway, let's get on with the video. So today's video is going to be my dinosaur tribal deck. So we're going to say this is the Gisef Sun's Avatar. He is a 7/6, 5 red, green and a white it's a 7/6 with trample, vigilance and haste. It's when deals combat damage to a player, reveal that many cards from the top of your library, put any number of dinosaur creatures cards from among them onto the battlefield, and the rest onto the bottom of your library in any order. So the aim in this deck is basically to get the commander out as soon as possible, and then, as you can hear, the train just went past. Yeah, don't mind me. Anyway, so a train just went past. Anyway, so this is the aim with the deck is to get this into play as soon as possible. It's like most Commander things. Your basic aim is to get your commander out as soon as possible, and basically try and get as much value on this. The difference when you're building, so this is what I would recommend people play for their commander. Pantlaza is what you get in the precon, and then you say before I say the precon, the dinosaur precon that came out in this Ixalan was actually quite a good value for things. And if you're trying to build the deck, I would recommend getting the precon if you don't have most of them, and you can pick up the various other bits upgrades on it. Okay, so Gisef basically recruits dinosaurs from the top of your library, where it's the damage it dealt. So that if it deals more damage, you get more than thing. I mean, basically, you basically trying to play as many dinosaurs in the deck as possible to try and get maximum value off this. And there's some certain things that you can interact with the top card of your library, for instance, like the Skylands and stuff like that. Anyway, so that's Gisef, and that's the commander. I would say I've got a story to do with this. So I've been playing a long time. I've been playing 21 years, but like I have this commander deck built since the original Ixalan, which was, I think that's 2017 now, I believe. This one doesn't have the date stamp. Alright, so this one I had at a sealed event. It was iBuy War Games in Woking, so it was either a PPTQ or a GPT. I think it was a GPT. And it was sealed deck and top 8 draft. So I made the top 8 of the event with this in sealed. And I was like, what can I do with this at the end of the event? And I was like, I could build a dinosaur tribal deck. And to be honest, I built most of the original tribes in Ixalan. So I've got a vampire deck, merfolk deck, which I'll feature in a later video at some point. All right, that's just F. Right, so we'll start with the first section, which is the thing. And as you said, there've really only been 2 sets that have dinosaurs in it. Other than there's a couple of other sets that have a few odd dinosaurs, like there's stuff like the Doctor Who set that's got some random ones. I haven't played those. I haven't included those for some things. Anyway, let's start with the ones that are in Ixalan, the actual dino. So this isn't an actual dino. Well, it's not a dino. It is sort of. It's a roaming throne. It's a 4 mana for a 4/4. It's got ward 2. It's basically as he enters, you choose a creature type. It is the chosen type in addition to its other types, and it's if a triggered ability of another creature you control of the chosen type triggers, it triggers an additional time. So Gisef is one of the main ones, and even if it only has Gisef, it's quite good value. Roaming Throne is just good in most tribal decks, and it's one of the best additions to this deck. And when you say I had this deck when the original Ixalan came out, and when you say when this one came out, it was different by about 20 colours. This is the multicolored section. I might do timestamps on this video, so I'll link the various different sections of the deck. I'll see, because I've only learned how to do that recently. This is Pantlaza of the Sun Favors. It's 2 red, green, and a white, which is Naya things for a 4/4. It's when it or another dinosaur enters the battlefield under your control. You may discover X, where X is the creature's toughness. And do only once each turn. So for those that don't know Discover, you basically exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card with that mana value or less. Cast it without paying mana cost. So in the pre-con, this is the commander. I mean, say it's not bad, but I feel in a pure dinosaur deck, or pretty much dinosaur deck, I think Gisef is better, personally. Anyway, Pantlaza is still a really good addition to the deck. Alright, so then we get on to these are all the multicolored ones. So this is a Quartzwood Crasher, originates from Ikoria. So it's 2 red, red, green for a 6/6 with trample, which is already good value. And it's one or more creatures you control with trample deals combat damage to player. Create an XX green dinosaur beast with trample, where X is the amount of damage that those creatures dealt to that player. Alright, so now we get move on. I aim for about 40 minutes or so on this video. Let's see how it goes. Register Alpha 3 red, green for a 4/4. It's other dinosaurs you control of haste. When he enters the battlefield, create a 3/3 green dinosaur token with trample. It's a similar kind of effect to a Broodmate Dragon with a body and another body with it, but this grants all dinosaurs haste. And as you see, I got it at the pre-release of the time, so it's 2017 as it says. Right, then we got one of the newer ones is Pantlaza's Hatcher. So this is in the kind of alternate frame thing. So use what you have. I'm a whale. I like trying to foil these decks. I do like the foils. Right. So this is other dinosaurs you control have haste again. Is when it enters the battlefield, create 2 green dinosaur eggs. I'll show you the eggs in a bit. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control 1 or more eggs, sacrifice an egg, then create a 3/3 green dinosaur. Then we go Kolgon Yudaro, 2 red, red, green, green for a 7/7. It's an 8 dinosaur turtle. That's kind of a weird combination, but that's what they are at the time. Ikoria also had several other, not Ikoria, but you know what I mean. The had various mashups of it. Oh, it's March of the Machine, actually. That's one now I remember. So when it enters the battlefield, choose 1. It gains trample and haste. It fights target creature you don't control, but you can't do it on your own to get an enraged trigger on various things. Just several dinosaurs have various triggers trigger when they're dealt damage. And you can also 2 red and a green, discard it, destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment, and shuffle it into your library from graveyard, draw card. So it's a bit like the Besieger or that kind of effect on a body. This is Galton Morven. This is a dinosaur vampire. It's a 3 green green white white for 12/12 with trample. That's really large just to start with. And it's whenever you attack, choose 1. Create a tapped and attacking XX green dinosaur with trample where X is greatest power, or create 1/1 white vampire creature tokens with lifelink where X is number of other attacking creatures. I haven't got around to putting the vampire tokens in, but I don't think I'm ever going to use that mode that often. Alright, this is also available in the promo. I believe it was the box top or something. I'm trying to find one. I think I've got one somewhere. I just haven't got around to it. Alright, and then we move on to one of the bigger ones. So this is Zakama, Primal Calamity. This is probably also used in non-dinosaur tribals as a when you have infinite mana kind of outlet or stuff like that. Anyway, this is 6 red, green, and white for a 9/9. It has vigilance, reach, and trample. So this deck can be slightly weak to flyers, and this is a reach creature that will help you deal with them. So it has, when it enters the battlefield, if you cast it, untap all lands you control. So it also has 2 in a red, deal 3 damage to target creature. 2 in a green, destroy target artifact or enchantment, and 2 in a white, you gain 3 life. Right, so we move on to the mono-coloured creatures. So we've got Death Gorge Scavenger. Looks a bit like a kind of crocodile dinosaur kind of thing. 2 green for a 3/2. It's when it enters the battlefield or attacks, you may exile target card from a graveyard. If a creature card is exiled this way, you gain 2 life. If a non-creature card is exiled this way, Death Gorge Scavenger gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So it's a bit like a Scavenging Ooze kind of thing. Then we've got Wayward Sawtooth, so it's a bit like a ramp. So it's 2 green for a 5/5. So it's got Ascend, which is basically if you control 10 more permanents, you get the City's Blessing. They give you the Blessing token in the precon now, so that's easy to get. And you may play an additional land on each of your turns, and it can attack or block. It can't attack or block unless you have the City's Blessing, but it's not really that difficult to do. It's ramp early and a body later. Thrashing Brontodon, I'm playing this one, the M20 promos. This is 1 green and green. This is a classic. It's a 3/4. It's from M20, and it's sacrifice it, destroy target, 1 and sacrifice it, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Just very versatile. Topiary Stomper, so this is one of the dinosaurs that didn't come out in like Ixalan. So this is 1 and a green for 4/4 with Vigilance. When it enters the battlefield, you search your library for a basic land and put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Can't attack or block unless you control 7 or more lands. Then one of the newer additions, so this is also a nice reach. So it's 3 and a green for a 2/5, Curious Altosaur, with Vigilance and Reach, and it also has whenever a dinosaur you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. That's pretty good. One of the better new things to come out of the precon, and it's exclusive to the precon. And this is Hulking Raptor from the main set for 2 green and green for a 5/3. It's got Ward 2, which is nice. And it's the beginning of your pre-combat main phase. You add green, green. So you won't get it the turn you play it, but you get it the next turn. And we've got Ripjaw Raptor. So this is one of the original ones. As you see, it's got the stamp on it again. 2 and a green, green for a 4/5. This is Enrage. So this Enrage is whenever Ripjaw Raptor is dealt damage, draw a card, and there are various other dinosaurs that have Enrage on it as well. Then we've got Sign of Calamity. This is a 3 and a green, green for a 5/5. This is Myriad. So basically, Myriad is a mechanic where it basically scales when you have more opponent spaces. So whenever this creature attacks, for each opponent other than defending player, you may create a token that's a copy of this creature that's tapped and attacking that player or planeswalker they own. Exile the tokens at end of combat. So this is more enchantment and artifact destruction. This is whenever Sign of Calamity deals combat damage to a player, destroy target artifact or enchantment that player controls. So it's nice and versatile. Then we've got Regal Behemoth. When you say this didn't used to be a dinosaur, it used to be, I think it was a beast or something, and then they changed it. Anyway, this is the right printing of it. Is it 4 green, green, and you see I've got the nice foil for a 5/5 with trample. Most dinosaurs do have trample. When it enters the battlefield, you become the Monarch. So Monarch is the mechanic where you gain a card in your basically end step when you have the monarchy. But this also reads whenever you tap a land for mana, while you're the Monarch, add an additional 1 mana of any colour. So that's a nice benefit. Normally, I'm not a big fan of being the Monarch in the game. I think you get focused on too much, and I generally don't make a conscientious effort to get it. Anyway, we're going on. So this is Earthshaker Dreadmaw. I'm afraid I cut the Colossal Dreadmaw from the list. I had it in there for a long time, but this is the improved version. It's 4 green and green, and this one's only like this. Actually, this one's uncommon. Right, so this is a 6/6 trample. It's when it enters the battlefield, draw a card for each other dinosaur you control. So it's a 6-mana 6/6 at worst. And even if you get it off the GSF, you'll get some triggers off it to draw cards. So it's good. And then we've got Carnage Tyrant, which is one of the other classics from the original X-Men. It saw a lot of play in standard and various formats at the time. So it's 4 green and green for a 7/6. It can't be countered, and it's got trample and hexproof. Right, so then we've got Verdant Sun's Avatar. So this is 5 green and green for 5/5. It's whenever it or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain life equal to the toughness. Then we've got one of the best cards in the thing. Sorry if I have spoilers, but like I'm trying to film this and do it, the things at the same time. Alright, Vaultborn Tyrant. So this is a 5 and a green for a 6/6 with trample. It's when a Vaultborn Tyrant or another creature, and this is from the most current set as well. I had to buy them anyway. Thanks Magic Madhouse for the singles anyway. I didn't say I bought most of the bits I need that I didn't open. Enters whenever it or another creature with power 4 greater enters the battlefield under control, you gain 3 life and draw cards. So it's a bit like a Garruk's Uprising with some life and on it as well. This one also has, when it dies, if it's not a token, create a token that's a copy of it, except it's an artifact in addition to its other types. This also sees a lot of play in various other 60 card formats like Standard, Pioneer, etc. Then we go Tyrannus Rex, and then you say this one I opened on the stream. I also do, in addition to my Commander videos, I also do pack opening videos. And if you watch my pack opening video for All Will Be One, you would have seen me open this. Anyway, I was excited when I opened it, but then I couldn't find it for a long time, and it took me about 3 hours to go through my cards to try and find it, and that's partly why this video was a bit later than we expected. Alright, this is Tyrannus Rex. This is 4 a green for an 8/8. It can't be countered. It has trample, toxic 4, ward 4, and haste, which is pretty much what you want. It's like a Phyrexian dinosaur, and it's in this nice foil art. There's also available, you can also get the more like the Jurassic Park version of this, and there's some other regular versions of that. Anyway, that's that one. And one of my more pretty dinosaurs. This is Rampaging Brontodon. This is a 5 green for a 7/7 with trample. It's whenever it attacks, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each land you control. So it's generally going to be like, it's going to be large. Then we've got Gauta. This is the nice alternate one. So this is 5 green for a 12/12 with trample. They just get larger and larger. I mean, you say when Gauta's Stampede Tyrant enters the battlefield, put any number of creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield. So quite useful. And you say you could. I had a game where I basically got Raft. I had a full, more or less a full hand. Then I played this, and then I put them all back into play pretty much. Then we've got Polyraptor. This is 6 green for a 5/5. It's got the Enrage trigger. It's whenever Polyraptor is dealt damage, create a token that's a copy of it. So it's quite a detriment to attacking into it because you keep getting copies. I don't have the combo that goes with it. I used to play the Pyrohemia and the other pieces of the combo, but I don't play that anymore. I don't feel they're necessary. I play Polyraptor on its own though, and it's fine. Then we go to Gauta, also the 12/12 for what is 12, but it's not really going to be 12/12. It's probably going to be green in this. It's basically Gauta's a legendary elder dinosaur. He costs X less, where X is total number power of creatures you control, and he has trample. Then we go on to one of the Jurassic Park cards. So this is one of the more expensive things. I think this was about £30-something. And this is 2 red for a 3/2 with first strike, and it's dinosaurs spells you cast have Prowl 2 and a red. So Prowl is, you may cast a spell for its Prowl cost if you dealt combat damage to apply this turn with a creature with any of its creature types. And it's got the quote from like Jurassic Park on it. Coincidentally, I think I remember seeing some of the Jurassic Park films. I haven't seen all of them though, but I might watch some more now because I think I might enjoy it more now. The crossover. Anyway, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks very much for watching. We said we're still going, and then say, all right, we're getting on. So we're moving through the dinosaurs, and then we'll go into spells and other things. It's mostly dinos in this deck anyway. We've got 4 a red. I've played this deck like since I've rebuilt it. I've played it 3 or 4 times. So I'm going to play it some more this week as well. for a red for a 5/5, and thanks to those that basically, all those people in my various different playgroups, thanks very much. I also run my local F&M as well. Alright, 4 and a red for a 5/5. This is trample, and it's whenever a dinosaur you control is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target that isn't a dinosaur, so you won't be able to get enraged triggers off it, but again, it's pretty good. Then we've got Bonehull Dracosaur. I opened that in one of my pack openings, as you see. If you want to see it, scroll back in my playlist. I link them all in the playlist. 3 a red and a red for a 5/5. This is a dinosaur dragon. I've got it. I only if I have another one where I put it in my my dragon deck. I'll show that later at some point. Anyway, as you see, it came out of the pre-release pack thing. It's got the stamp on it. It's got flying and first strike. It's the beginning of your upkeep. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play them this turn. If you exiled a land this way, create a 3/1 red dinosaur token. I still need to find those tokens, but then I'm going to link the deck on Moxfield, and like all as it was, you'll be able to see the link to the current version. And if I change it and anything, you'll be able to see the prices of all the cards and various stuff. And when you say I'll link the deck on Moxfield, it's probably in the comments or the description. If you exiled a land this way, create a 3/1 red dinosaur token. If you exiled a non-land this way, create a treasure token. It's just a good value thing. It's a bit like it's what, like 2 or 3 cards. It's like Reckless Impulse with like additional bits on a 5/5 body. It's really good. All right, we've got Atali. This version of Atali, I've got the classic frame one as well, but it's not in this deck. It's in one of my other decks. So this is the foil one. This is 4 red for a 6/6. It's like pretty good outside even dinosaur decks. It's just good in most red value-based decks. It's whenever it attacks, exile the top card of each player's library, then you may cast any number of non-land this way, exile this way without paying them mana costs. And you've got Trumpeting Carnosaur. So I've yet to cast this actually. This is 4 red and a red for a 7/6 with trample. When it enters the battlefield, discover 5. And it's got 2 red, discard it, deal 3 damage target creature or planeswalker. Then we've got Burning Sun Avatar, 3 red for a 6/6. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 3 damage to target opponent and 3 damage up to 1 target creature. Then we've got Atali. Sorry, this one's double-sided. I'll see if I can remove it. Should have done that ahead of time. Alright, I've successfully managed to get rid. So this is Atali Primal Conqueror. So this is 5 a red for a 7/7 with trample. When it enters the battlefield, each player exiles cards from the top of their library into the exile non-land. You may cast any number of spells from among the cards exiled this without paying their mana cost. So it's similar to the other Atali, but it has a 9 and a Phyrexian. Transform Atali only has a sorcery, so it becomes this Atali Primal Sickness. So this is a legendary creature, Phyrexian Elder Dinosaur, 11/11. Trample, indestructible. Whenever it deals combat damage to player, they get that many poison counters. So that's like the old school poison. Anyway, this card is pretty good. It's also quite expensive. I thought it was around the 10 to 15 kind of mark. Say people didn't. I don't know if people opened much of this set or not, but it's quite popular. Anyway, I've yet to do the. I don't even remember casting it. I've yet to flip it, but I'll probably manage it at some point. All right, now we go on to the white dinosaurs. Kenjali Sunwing. So this is kind of like a prison kind of effect. So 2 white for a 2/3. It's like Blind Obedience is a comparable card to it. Other than this is on a body, so this is on a dinosaur. This is a 2/3 flyer, and its creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. Then we've got Bronzebeak Forager, one of the new additions. So 3 and a white for a 3/4. When it enters the battlefield, for each opponent, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent that player controls. So it's a bit like a Banishing Light kind of style of effect on the thing. And it also has white and X, put target card with mana value X, exile with it into its owner's graveyard and you gain life. Then we have Temple Altasaur. It's if it's 4 and a white for a 3/4, and it's a source would deal damage to another dinosaur you control, prevent all but 1 damage. Then we've got Trapjaw Tyrant, 3 a white and a white for a 5/5. With the enraged trigger, whenever he's dealt damage, exile target creature that an opponent controls until it leaves the battlefield. Trapjaw Tyrant. And you've got Bellowing Allosaur for a 5 a white for a 3/5. It's enraged whenever it is dealt damage, put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control. Then we have Goring Ceratops for a 5 a white for a 3/3 with double strike. It's when it attacks, other creatures you control gain double strike until the end of turn. Then we have another one of the classics, one of the big legendary Elder Dinosaurs. So this is Zetapa Primal Dawn for 6, a white and a white for 4/8. That's a weird stat line. Anyway, it's flying, got double strike, vigilance, trample, and indestructible. So he's just good. Then we got Waking Sun's Avatar 5, a white and a white for a 7 summon. And this is one of the better creatures in the deck. It's basically like a one-sided board wipe most of the time. It's when it enters the battlefield. If you cast it from your hand, destroy all non-dinosaurs. There's a slight... You only have when you cast from your hand. But then you said there's other ways to bring it back, but it won't get the trigger. Alright, now those are the dinos. We will move on to the ramp package. We'll start with the creatures first. So we've got Birds of Paradise. So I'm not playing as many like ramp pieces as some people in these kind of decks, but like you're trying to get a balance, because later when you've got all the mana in play, you don't really need things that aren't dinosaurs particularly, other than there's a couple of spells you play. Anyway, so we're not playing as many as some, but like you need some. Your commander costs 8. You want to cast it as soon as possible, e.g. on like turn 5-ish. Anyway, this is Birds of Paradise. This is the one from Ravnica. Use your favourite one if you would like the classic one. Or even technically there's an anime one, but I'm not sure it looks very anime to me anyway. This is Birds of Paradise from Ravnica. It's one of the mana dorks, a classic mana dork, been in the game forever. Anyway, taps if it's a 0/1 with flying for green, and it taps for mana of any colour. Then we move on to like elf kind of effect. So this is the Avacyn's Pilgrim. This is the promo printing, so this is green. It taps for white mana on a 1/1. And we've got Llanowar Elf, we've got this printing, so this is green. Oh, you know what Llanowar Elf does, taps for green mana on a 1/1. And we've got some of the more dinosaur-orientated ones. So we've got Drover the Mighty. This is 1 and a green, it's for a 1/1, but it gets +2/+2 as long as you control a dinosaur. Taps for 1 mana of any colour. Then we've got Otek Huntmaster. This is 1 and a red for a 1/2. It's dinosaur spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, and its target dinosaur gains haste until end of turn for tapping it. Then we've got Altrigan Seer, so it's 1 a green and a white for a 2/3. It's a human druid. It taps for mana of any colour, and it also has a nice ability which is sack it to return target dinosaur from your graveyard to your hand. Then we've got Knight of the Stampede for 3 and a green for a 2/4, and its dinosaurs spells you cast cost 2 less to cast. Right, those are the mana dorks. Let's move on to the actual mana rocks. They're not very many. We've got Sol Ring. Pick your favourite. You can pick there are lots of different ones now. This is Arcane Signet. This is one of the nicer printings. I like that printing. It's 2 mana, tap for 1 mana in your colour identity. Then we've got one of the newer ones. This was also in the precon. This is Progenitor's Icon, 3 mana artifact. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Tap which dinosaur. Tap, add 1 mana of any colour, and it's tap the next spell of the chosen type you cast this turn can be cast as though it has flash. So it's a nice way of surprise and combat tricks. Alright, we will go on to the traditional ramp. We've got Farseek. Search your library for plains, island, swamp, or mountain. And you've got type land, so you can find them all. Then you've got Farseek. Oh no, sorry, Kadama's Reach, 2 green for the search for 2 basics, put 1 in hand tapped and 1 on the battlefield. Then we've got Cultivate, which is kind of like Kadama's Reach again, really. Alright, those are all the ramp. Now we move on to the spells. There are not very many spells. They're 2, to be honest. They're what I would call whammies. Alright, this is a Chroma's Will for 3 and a white, so this is an instant. You choose one. If you control commanders, you cast a spell, you may choose both. It's creatures you control gain flying, vigilance, and double strike until the end of the turn. And creatures you control gain lifelink, indestructible, and protection from all colours. So this is normally a win the game card. It's quite frustrating if you hit it off GSF, but it's just a good... It's very versatile. It's one of the better spells in the game. For commander, anyway. Anyway, this is Finale of Devastation. This is an X spell for X green. It's search your library and or graveyard for a creature card with converted mana X or less, put it onto the battlefield. If you search your library this way, shuffle it. If X is 10 or more greater, creature control +X and gain haste until end of turn, which is quite good. And that's a game finisher as well. So those are your 2 kind of spells that you can finish the game with. Now we'll go on to the enchantments and we'll round out with the lands. There are quite a few enchantments, actually. Okay, so this is From the Rubble. So this is another one from the precon itself, and it's very good. It's 4 and a white for an enchantment. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. At the beginning of your end step, return target creature card of the chosen type from the graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. So finality counters, for those that don't know, is if a creature with the finality counter on it would die, you basically exile it instead. So it's a good piece of recursion. You can normally get back more than 6 mana of value off it quite easily. And this is another way to get a value outside you playing your spells. So Lurking Predators, this is 4 and a green. So one of the people at the shop was like Mr. Lurking Predators. Anyway, it says this is Lurking Predators an enchantment. So whenever an opponent casts a spell, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, you may put the card on the bottom of the library. So that's a good way to recur value, and you've got lots of free of large creatures. Then we've got Growing Rights of Itlimoc. So this basically is 2 and a green for an enchantment. Oh, I'm going to have to take it out of the sleeve again. Sorry about that. Sorry about this. Oh, I can't really do it very easily. I mean, don't worry about it. I can explain it. I mean, when it enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of the library in any order. At the beginning of the step, if you control 4 more creatures, transfer and Growing Rights of Itlimoc. So it becomes a Guy's Cradle, effectively. And I've got an actual Guy's Cradle in there as well. Okay, so the basic Guy's Cradle, for those that don't know, taps for green mana for each creature you control. And basically, this one also taps a mana on its own as well, which Guy's Cradle doesn't actually do. I can't get it out the sleeve very easily one-handed. Anyway, this is another way to generate value. Descendant's Path is 2 and a green for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card that shares a creature type with a creature you can control, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. If you don't cast it, put it on the bottom of the library. Dinosaur generally, but I have been able to get some of the mana dorks off it. Then we've got a Sarkhan's Unsealing for 3 and a red. So this is basically a whammy card. It's a way to finish the game. It's whenever you cast a creature spell with power 4, 5 or 6, deal 4 damage to any target. Whenever you cast a creature spell with power 7 or greater, Sarkhan's Unsealing, deal 4 damage to each opponent, each creature or planeswalker. So generally with that on the commander basically clears out quite a lot of the board anyway. I still need to get a 4-1. Anyway, this is Aggravated Assault. I used to play more combat effects in the deck, but I think this one's worth playing. It's basically one, you can do it multiple times if you need to. So it's 2 and a red for an enchantment, which reads 3 red, untap all creatures you control. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase, followed by additional main phase, played it only as a sorcery. I've got a bit of protection and haste, so Rhythm of the Wild, 1 a red and a green. This creature spells you control can't be countered. Non-token creatures you control have riot, so that's basically they enter the battlefield with a choice of +1/+1 or haste, and it's good to get all the large dinosaurs into play with haste, more or less. So but you can make them bigger as well. Right, then we're going to do the land. There's going to be there's going to be 36 land in the deck. If you don't have the land, I say you can basically use what you have. You're basically trying to get the requisite amount of coming to play untapped and tapped lands. And any lands that tap for multiple colours. So we're going to start with, I'll just go through them in order. So I've got fetches, so there's going to be Windswept Heath. You don't need me to explain the fetches. Arid Mesa, there's some proxies in here, but I've got all the cards. Generally proxy cards I don't own, so that they're not, anyway, that's full cycle fetches. Then we've got the Savannah. I've only got 1 real one. Then we've got Taiga, so these original jewels. I've got a set of Taigas. I just don't have more than 4 Taigas. Right, so there would be an original red-white jewel, which I don't have, so I don't have it. Anyway, then we go on to the shock lands. We've got Sacred Foundry. We've got Temple Garden and Stomping Ground. So that's a full set of shocks. Then we go the Buddy lands, they're called. I've got using the excellent ones for this because they're more flavourful, and they've got the dinosaur. So I've got the Rootbound Crag, Sunpetal Grove, and Clifftop Retreat. That's the printing from the pre-con, because that's more to do with the dinosaur kind of theme. Then we've got Painlands, Brushland, that one's a proxy, and then we've got Battlefield Forge and Carpoosan Forest. That's quite a nice Carpoosan Forest. That was from DMU. Then we go temples. So we've got Temple of Abandon, Temple of Triumph, and they have good interaction because you can basically you can set up the top of your deck, and you say if you don't like the top card when you've got Joseph in play, you can basically send it on the bottom and hope to get a dinosaur, and they can just fix your mana. These are the bicycle lands. They shouldn't necessarily be in the deck, but they're dual lands and they're on type. I would probably play. There should be a Triome in the deck, but I haven't got the red-green Naya Triome or whatever you want to call it available, so I'm using these currently. And then maybe you should be playing the lands that originate at Battle Bond, so they come into play untapped ones. But the cycle lands are okay. So I've got the Sheltered Thicket and the Scattered Grove. I've got Jungle Shrine. It should probably be the Naya Triome, but it doesn't. Anyway, this is an alternate one. It looks quite nice. Then we've got these are the multicolour lands. So we've got Path of Ancestry. That's the promo that was given away fairly recently. And I like tribal lands generally. It says Command Tower. And then we've Cavern of Souls. So that was one of my better openings. I opened that in my Ixalan pack opening video. Or did I open it in the pack opening? I can't remember. No, actually, I think I opened it at the actual pre-release. Yeah, I opened it at the pre-release, not in the pack opening. Anyway, that was one of the best things. If you don't have the Cavern of Souls is fairly expensive, but they're good in so many decks. They're good in nearly every tribal deck, and they're good in like more. I mean, now they're legal in Pioneer and Standard at the moment. Alright, so that's Cavern of Souls, one of my better pulls. And then the Gaia's Cradle. Don't worry if you don't have the Gaia's Cradle, it's like expensive, but if you have it, play it. Right, and then we're going to basics. So it's going to be, I'm using these basics, which are Rebecca Guy basics. They're from this Standard Showdown. So they're going to be some amount of each. They're all by Rebecca Guy. 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 forests. Then we've got the plains. We've got 1, 2, 3 of them. And then we go to the mountains, and there's going to be, I think it's 3, 2, 3. Yeah, that's 3 mountains. All right, so we're going to round up the video now. All right, so thanks very much for watching. Oh yeah, no, we've got one more thing. I've got to show the tokens. Okay, so we've got the various different tokens. So we've got various things that the deck makes. So we've got the City's Blessing. So this is for a few things like the... yes, so basically the City's Blessing token, so it basically just signifies you have the City's Blessing, so you basically had 10 permanents when it was cast, and it triggers various effects. Then we've got the Monarch. So at the beginning of your end step, draw a card. When a creature deals combat damage to you, the controller becomes the Monarch. I've got the Dinosaur Egg. Treasure. Take your printing, there's so many different treasure ones. I'm using these Ixalan ones. Then we've got the Dinosaur, the 3/3 Trampler. Some of these are double-sided. Let's see if we've got the Dinosaur Beasts on the other card. Yeah, there's the Dinosaur Beasts. And then there was a couple of cards I've thought about playing, but I haven't. So this isn't covered in the deck. This is a 2 green for a 3/3. I might find I put it in later. You'll be able to see the up-to-date list on Moxfield. And for those that don't know Moxfield is the best of those kind of services. It enables you to basically keep track of all your decks. It enables you to index your collection, and you can scroll through it via various different fields. And I think it's the best one of the services. And anyway, I'll link the deck list on Moxfield. I might even do it later. And see, another train has just gone by. They're roughly every half hour, the trains. So this is a 3/3 for free, and it's whenever it attacks, you may have it become a copy of another target dinosaur you control, except its name is Summerfield Infiltrator, and it has this ability. Then we've got the Apex Outer Source. It's 9 mana, 7 green and green, which is a little off-putting for a 10/10. It's when it enters a battlefield, it fights out to one target creature you don't control, and it has Enrage. I might put it in there, I'll have to work it out. Anyway, it's not currently in the list. And there's also the Tarrasque and things like that from the D&D set that I haven't got in there currently anyway. Anyway, the up-to-date link will be on Moxfield. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, and as always, my name is Matthew. This is Matthew Hawker Gaming. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. It helps the channel grow tremendously. I hope to do some more of these videos. Anyway, good luck to those this weekend that are going to the modern, the new Modern Horizons set is coming out. Or is it Modern Masters, Modern Horizons? I like whatever, they're all the same. Anyway, is it Modern set or is it a Commander set? There are going to be lots of Commander cards in there as well. Anyway, they're even doing Commander decks for like a set that's not, inverted commas, aimed necessarily at Commander. Anyway, hopefully, I wish you luck in that, and I may even, if I have a small amount of packs, I may do a pack opening. We'll see about that. I have to work out. I need to work out on my events. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again on the next one. Thanks very much. Bye.